Hey everyone, I'm Joel Greene and welcome to Curiosity Quest Goes Green, the show that explores what you, the viewer, are curious about. Now today our quest letter came to us from Rancho Cucamonga, California. Sachin wrote, "Dear Joel, I'm curious, can you go out on a farm and learn all about different fruits and vegetables and how they're grown?" Well, Sachin, because of you, we're actually going to visit a couple farms and we're going to see a variety of different fruits and vegetables. I'm going to learn how they're grown, but we're going to learn how they're grown organically. So let's begin today's Curiosity Quest Goes Green. We're in the city of Irvine, and I'm here with AG from Orange County Produce LLC. Now, AG, this is a little unusual place that we're at. There's an airstrip in the middle of your farm here. Tell us where we're at, first of all.
This is the former El Toro Marine Base, and they've turned it into a place called the Great Park. It's going to be larger than Central Park, Golden Gate Park in San Francisco, Balboa Park in San Diego. It'll be bigger than all three of those combined.
Wow.
So it'll be one of the biggest new parks for the 21st century.
I've been to all three parks, and I mean, obviously, Central Park and the Golden Gate, those are huge parks.
That's right.
Tell us what you've been doing for the past 7 years.
You know, I had a chance to work for Governor Schwarzenegger when he was elected governor here in California, and so I ended up being appointed to be the Secretary of Agriculture for the California Department of Food and Agriculture.
If you don't mind me asking, what do we have here that
Well,
we're...
what you have here on, you can see how this is a little bigger. These are all planted at the same time. These are growing, these are a zucchini, a yellow zucchini.
You said that these are growing up faster and bigger than these. Is there a reason for that?
As you look at this one, you would think that must have been planted ahead of this one, right?
Yeah, well, absolutely.
But no, every plant has a different kind of metabolism. Every plant grows at different rates, just like kids grow at different rates. You know, got big kids, little kids, even though they're the same age.
I've always wondered, driving by fields, what's with the plastic?
Why do farmers cover their crops with plastic?
To help the environment?
So bugs don't eat them.
To keep the bugs away from getting on them. If the bugs eat them, then they won't grow.
So the birds won't destroy it?
I would say for pests, for like mosquitoes, and probably from the sun.
To keep them cool.
To keep them from spoiling.
So what the black plastic does is it combines a couple things. It helps shade out the weeds that would be underneath or growing next to these plants or taking away the nutrients from the plants. And also by having this black plastic stretch, it warms the bed. You know, it's a little cool today. What happens is the sun can heat this and it'll keep some moisture and some warmth in these beds and helps them heat up a little bit faster than just the ground. Okay. And then on top of that, once there's fruit out here, once you have a zucchini or maybe it's going to be a melon or maybe it's going to be a cucumber, if instead of touching the ground where it can get rotten, what happens, it's laying out there and it stays a little bit cleaner.
Wow. So it's for weeds, to keep everything warm, and to keep the plant safer longer. Basically.
That's right. That's
it's
right.
not touching the ground. Wow. Okay, well, I guess that's pretty important.
We live in a place that's very dry, Southern California. There's a lot of challenges with water. Water's expensive, in fact. It's enormous. It's some of the most expensive water for irrigation, really anywhere in the world.
Is in Southern California?
Southern California, right.
Wow.
And so what we want to do is make sure that we're just using just the right amount of water, not too much, not too little.
Sure.
And the drip irrigation really helps us put exactly what the plant needs.
Here's your fun fact.
Did you know that within the next decade, we're gonna see organic foods grown in every country of the world? Everyone. Everyone.
Where are we at right now?
So we're in a cucumber field.
Okay.
And these are young cucumber plants. We have a little string here because the plants, otherwise they sprawl out and they'll get all over the place. And you want to put it up there where you can get to the fruit easily.
Okay.
And when I say fruit, a cucumber is a fruit.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's just like a
I didn't know that.
a watermelon. Basically, is the same variety of plants. It has seeds on the inside.
But it's not sweet.
It's not that sweet. All fruit does not have to be sweet.
I didn't know that. Why do you have the sticks here?
Well, as these plants grow, these are very young plants, and these plants eventually will be quite high.
Yeah.
And they'll grow up and they'll climb up these vines, and we'll kind of help them stay upright.
How long will it take for it to become full?
If you were to come back here in about, I'd say about 12 days.
12 days?
Less than 14 days, that would be big enough to pick.
Whoa. What is the difference between being an organic farmer and a non-organic farmer?
A certified organic farmer at this point is you're not allowed to use synthetic petroleum-based chemicals that can be turned into either fertilizers or pesticides. And those are the ones that are said that are put aside and said, no, you can't use those. You have to use other tools if you're going to use tools. There's a lot of people think that, oh, organic growers don't use any pesticides at all, and maybe there's some that don't, and depending on the plant, there's some that don't. But most organic growers that I know do use organically approved pesticides. And that's a really important thing to understand, that there's things that will attack these plants. And whether you're an organic grower or whether you're a conventional grower, which uses the regular products that are out there, you're still trying to do your best to make sure your plants don't get a disease, don't get eaten up by or sucked up by aphids or the different kinds of bugs that are out there. So the tools, each farmer, whether you're organic or conventional, has a toolbox, if you will.
You keep saying tools.
A toolbox, and I say, we call them crop tools. And those crop tools, you have products you can use. So in the toolbox for an organic grower, for example, is we've already put out ladybugs out here. And ladybugs eat aphids and other pests.
So bugs eating other bugs.
Bugs eating other bugs, right.
Simple. Bugs eating other bugs.
What is a pesticide?
I think pesticide is bugs because pests. A type of rock.
A spray.
Farmers use it up north for like orange fields to kill their bugs, you know, like the little mosquitoes and all that other little nasty animals out there.
AG, let's talk about a conventional farmer's toolbox.
Well, a conventional farmer then will have basically crop tools that will help either protect the plant or help it grow. So you'll have fertilizers, and you'll have basically plant medicines or pesticides. You'll have things that will go and kill insects that would kill the plants, or funguses that will kill the plants or kill the fruit or make it so you can't harvest it. And you'll have then fertilizers to help the plant grow if the soil happens to be a little weak.
Why do pesticides have such a bad rap? Is it okay that it has a bad rap?
I don't think so. In fact, you know, it's like saying you shouldn't use any medicines if you get sick. Here's a good example. You've got small baby. These will be baby peppers here.
Oh, okay.
So at this stage, see this little button right here?
Little buds right there.
That's going to be a bell pepper.
Oh, wow.
Now, if an insect comes along and starts to chew on this bell pepper when it's this stage, it'll never become a bell pepper that I can actually pick and harvest.
Sure.
So I think the biggest thing for me is to say that don't be afraid of a pesticide, but respect it. Respect it that if you don't use it right, it can cause problems. On this farm here, this ground, remember we're on the airport.
Yeah.
What used to be an airport, this ground has gone for 70 years without having a farm crop on it. It's had weeds. The weeds grow great. In fact, you know the ground's pretty strong.
Really?
And the plants would be good for it. So now you'd have to basically compete with the weeds, get your plants in, and hopefully you can maintain what's good about the ground without messing it up.
So is that a rule of thumb that if you can grow great weeds, you can grow great plants?
I will tell anybody, if you see a big vacant lot in your neighborhood and the weeds are just thick as can be, that would make a great garden.
Wow.
What do tractors do on a farm?
Tractors usually, they pretty much make lines for crops to be built.
Cut grass.
They cut the plants after they're grown.
They plow all the dirt and mix it for the plants to grow.
Cut the cornfields.
Mow.
You driving a tractor right now?
I wish.
So you know how we were on the other field, we were looking at all the weeds and you were helping me taking weeds out?
Yeah.
You know, we really appreciate that good labor. But
I did like 6 of them, so I hope that helps.
But here's a good example right here. You got weeds growing out in here.
Uh-huh.
And there's a bunch of these eventually will grow this big.
Ooh.
and the plants it'll overtake the plants. Here's another weed here. But what we've done here and what that tractor is doing there is we're cultivating. We're basically chopping up the little weeds if we can get to them with these implement tools, also pushing dirt to cover up some of the small weeds that are just coming up, and by covering them up, like this little one right here, which is growing, by covering them up, they won't grow, and we'll kill them that way. So there's no herbicide, but what you've done is you cultivated them out by moving it around these bean plants so the roots continue to grow down, and we challenge that plant to put roots down.
Oh, wow. So we're in a bean plant field right now, huh?
That's right.
Will they get as tall as, jacks?
No, these are bush beans.
Okay,
so these will come up and be this whole, in about 30 days, this whole field will be solid green, and you'll be walking here down a furrow, but it'll be filled in here.
Wow.
And there'll be a lot of beans in here.
Here's your fun fact.
The biggest country for organic productions in food is in Germany.
Have you noticed a shift in conventional farmers versus organic farmers just in, the past 10 years?
I think it's still about 6, 7, somewhere between 6 to 8% of the agriculture in California is organic today. That means 94%, 90-something percent is not organic.
Hey, okay, so I've got a question for you that I asked a group not too long ago, and I was really surprised by their answer. So I'm curious from you, do you still eat conventional crops?
Oh, absolutely. For me, you could ask me on any given day, you'd have an organic product and a conventional product. And for me, I'll ask you, which one was harvested most recently? Generally, the fresher the product, the more the nutrient value that's in that plant is still there. When you pick something alive, like a green bean, you pick it off the plant. It was alive when it was sitting on the plant. The minute you pick it off, they'll start to die. It's starting to decay. It's no longer connected to the plant, right? And all the nutrients then that are inside it start to leave it with every hour that goes by.
AG, I appreciate your time, man.
Pleasure to meet you. Thanks for all the
Thank you so
good
much
work.
for having us out.
Come on back and do some weeding with us.
Yeah.
What are thrips?
I think thrips are the rows where they put the corn in rows. I don't know.
Things that thrip things. Workout?
The thrips workout, huh?
Yeah, I don't.
Okay.
Like a zombie or something, I don't know.
Like a what?
A zombie or something, I don't know.
A zombie. We decided to come off the farm and into the OC Agricultural Lab so that we can look at some of these thrips. Thrips, whether it's single or plural, right?
You got it.
Thrips. And
Thrips.
this is what a thrips looks like?
That's what one looks like. A lot of people say they look like little tiny alligators. They have that shape.
Oh. And now, when you say little tiny, I mean, this is how big it is.
Well, you're right. They're very, very small. So we have to mount them on slides. We have to make them clear, so they get a little distorted. But that's what a thrips looks like.
We learned that organic farmers, they're not just going to spray a synthetic pesticide on here. What can they do to prevent this from taking over the crop?
One of the things they can do is they can release another kind of thrips that eats plant-feeding thrips, a predaceous thrips.
These are just one of the examples of the organisms that are obviously eating or a pest to some of the growers out there, huh?
That's right, and organic growers, like other growers, they have the kind of the added burden of needing to know that the thrips is there at the right time, because a lot of people and a lot of growers, they see the damage that the thrips do, which is really easy to see. You and I can walk down the row and see a scarred up plant or a wilting plant, and we know that damage is there. But actually the damage happened quite a bit before it showed up. And the thrips were on there feeding and the plant was healthy. So it's really important in organic agriculture or any kind of agriculture to be monitoring the plant and see that the pest is there before you see major damage. And with thrips, that's even harder because, like you said, they're so small, so hard to see. So it's a real challenge for growers to time just right when they're going to bring in that predator and let it go.
Well, we just want to come in the lab, and now we're going to head back out into the farm.
Here's your fun fact.
Did you know it takes about 5 years to switch a farm to organic? That's dedication.
I'm here with the first organic farmer in Orange County, McKay, and we're at Smith's Farm. So McKay, how did you get started in the organic farming business?
It's just something that I've always wanted to do, and I had a lot of requests from different customers that we have.
Now, we're in a field of what?
This is tomatoes, a lot of different varieties of tomatoes. We grow heirloom tomatoes. We grow Japanese pink beauty tomatoes, which are incredible. They're very juicy and sweet. We grow quite a few different varieties.
Now, how many of you at home thought there was just one tomato? I mean, there's a lot of variety of tomatoes.
There's literally thousands of different varieties.
Wow. And where do all of the vegetables or whatever you grow here on your farm, where do they all go?
We call it direct marketing, such as our fruit stands on each one of the farms, and then we go to farmers markets as well. So everything's really fresh. We pick it either the day of or the day prior.
For you as a farmer that's been doing this for many, many, many years, what's the biggest difference between being an organic and a non-organic farmer?
Conventional farmers mainly use commercial fertilizer versus what we use here on the organic farms is compost. We use, I hate to give my trade secrets, but we use seabird guano as one of our...
Seabird guano?
Seabird guano, which is seabird poop.
Yeah. Wow.
But it works fantastic. It works very good. Your commercial farmers use more things like triple 20, they're more synthetic forms of fertilizer.
So let's make our way down here. I'm curious, as we were walking up, I see these big yellow and green things over here. What do we have over here?
This is yellow squash.
Do they have pokies on it? Do you have any
little bit of gloves. I'll have to go get you gloves when I hook you up with the tractor.
I'm guessing that's not really going to happen the way you said that. But now, if we were to go in your conventional farm field right now and look at the same crop over there, I don't even know if you have the same crop. Would it look the same?
It's very similar. Probably one of the main differences, I think the crops get a little bit bigger when you use commercial fertilizer.
Yeah.
The organic, it stays a little bit smaller.
Would you ever say that, conventional farming is bad? Stay away.
No.
Okay.
I think they're both wonderful. I just, the organic farming has its challenges, just a little more hands-on, but I think they both have their place in the world. The yields on the organic might not be as much as the conventional.
So you can grow a lot more conventional.
Yeah, like our strawberry fields, we don't get the same harvest, as many boxes per acre as you would on the conventional.
Here's your fun fact.
Over 500 chemicals are routinely used in conventional farming. First one is... No, I'm just messing with you.
We moved over to your strawberry field, and again, I think I'm seeing the most beautiful strawberries I've ever seen. These are certified organic strawberries?
Certified organic berries.
As I enjoy this, tell me, for you, would you or do you eat non-organic foods still?
I do. I prefer the organic because I think a lot of times it has a little more flavor to it. So yeah, I try to do the organic, and I have 3 kids, and I like to, make sure they stay healthy, and so I definitely bring all the organic stuff home.
But knowing the business like you know it, is there a healthy or non-healthy part of being a conventional farmer that you know about or that you're familiar with?
I just think that there's so many unknowns, with the herbicides and pesticides, and I'd rather err on the better side of doing the organic, and I just think that it just seems to be a more natural, better product for people. On my end, it's definitely a lot more work to grow an organic piece of fruit, but I think the end result is something that has less herbicides, less pesticides, and I think it's just a better product overall.
you grow fruits and vegetables at home?
Cilantro, you know, and then chilies.
Cherries.
Really?
Yeah.
Raspberries.
No, but I would like to.
Yeah.
Oh, what kind?
What's it called? Fruits and vegetables. I think mangoes. Mangoes, yeah.
You grow mangoes?
I wish, yeah.
Oh, you wish. Wait a minute.
No, yeah, I do. I really do.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
I thought those are growing in rainforests.
I have no idea.
I'm so confused.
I know you do.
All right, so I'm here with an agriculture inspector from Orange County, Lorenzo. Now, Lorenzo, what does organics mean?
Well, Joe, most people think that organics are produce that don't have any pesticide applied on them. But in reality, our organic produce can actually have certain pesticides, which they call non-synthetic. Conventional farms use synthetic pesticides and synthetic fertilizers, or an organic farm doesn't use any of those. They use pesticides and fertilizers that are from natural resources.
What is your job? What do you do?
I go around, monitor all the records and make sure that the pesticides that they are using are within the guidelines of the NOP, or the National Organic Program.
I'm sure people are curious. I'm curious as a person who buys fruits and vegetables and whatnot. Are there regulations for people who actually, you know, put synthetic pesticides and synthetic, you know, products on fruits and vegetables?
Yeah, that's one of the major aspects of my job. When a grower does decide to use a pesticide, his crop has already been infested with certain pests, and he decides at this point it's beneficial for him to go out and spray his crop with the pesticide. So he has to decide whether or not he's going to go organic, or whether or not he's going to use a synthetic pesticide or a man-made pesticide. And at that point, I have to make sure that he's using the right pesticide, and also that the growers or the workers that help him do the pesticide applications are doing it in a manner that is safe for himself and also safe for the consumer.
You just said two things that are interesting. First of all, let's clear up what a pesticide is.
Pesticide is anything that can be used to kill a pest, whether it's a weed, whether or not it's an insect, or whether you know, it's a virus or a disease.
You also mentioned that they apply a pesticide once there has been a disease or an insect, so they don't just randomly spray pesticides on fruits and vegetables and plants?
No, at this point it's not beneficial, it's not cost effective just to go out and start spraying anything. So they'll have some of their employees or certain contractors to go out there and look at the field before they do their application, and once the pests or the insects get to a certain level, then that's when they'll go out there and do a pesticide application.
So even if I'm buying non-organic food, sometimes it doesn't necessarily mean that they've been sprayed with a pesticide, right?
No, not necessarily. Certain growers, even conventional growers, will use organic pesticides.
When it comes to organics, I think a lot of the parents are out there curious, well, how do I know that they're not using any pesticides at all? Are there certain levels of organics?
There are basically, yeah, there's 3 levels of organics. When you go out to your local supermarket, you'll notice 3 different types of labels on them. Initially, the highest organic, it'll definitely say 100% organic, and that means that crop or that produce doesn't have any pesticides or fertilizers that are non-synthetic on it. Just below that, it's going to say organic, which means 90% of the materials used on there is organic. Third level is say organic ingredients. And at that point, that means that 70% of the material being sprayed on it is from organic sources.
Okay, so there could still be that 30%.
Yeah, you still have 30%.
I think that clears it up for a lot of people because I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and it's all on a label. Most people don't know when they read organic on there, what percentages, but there are 3 different types of organic.
So 100%, obviously 100%, and then organic.
Organic is 95%. And then organically grown, organic ingredients is 70%.
70%. Oh, interesting. Well, very cool. Well, thanks for sharing that with us. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Here's your fun fact.
At least 70% of people in the U.S. have purchased or consumed some form of organic food.
I want to thank Nick, Lorenzo, McKay, and AG for teaching us all about organic farming. And I especially want to thank you, Sachin, for sending us on today's Curiosity Quest Goes Green. Now, if there's something that you're curious about, let us hear from you. Go to curiosityquest.org, click on the Send Us on a Quest link, and simply tell me what you're curious about. And you know, it could be you that sends on our next green adventure. And remember, this is our planet, and it's our responsibility to take care of it. So I'm curious, have you gone green? I'm Joel Greene, and I'll see you next time. Live on the farmland, it's not all, you know, clean. I mean, look at this. Look at this. Look at that. That's my shoe. Look at that. That's mud. That's farm and hard work and mud I earned. That's on my boot. Anybody have any sanitizer?
If you'd like to order a copy of this episode or a previous episode, visit us at www.curiosityquest.org.